This is the Sunday Business Page with Jon Delano.
Good morning, I'm Jon Delano. Welcome to another edition of the Sunday Business Page. And our very special guest this morning is Zach Greenberg, who is a First Amendment attorney with the Philadelphia-based Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, otherwise known as FIRE. Zach, thanks so much for being with us this morning. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So I wanted to ask you about First Amendment rights, free speech, and demonstrations on college and university campuses. We see this in the news almost every day. What is the boundary? Surely there is a boundary of some sort between First Amendment speech and protests, which we always identify with college campuses, and the disruption of universities itself. What's the rule here, Zach?
Sure thing. The First Amendment protects your right to peaceful political protest on a wide variety of topics. What you can't do is disrupt campus or threaten others. Once that speech crosses the line into this unpermissible misconduct, that's when the university can step in and punish their students.
Well, what does that mean when it comes to encampments? Because at many universities, those who protest Israel's conduct in Gaza are setting up tents in the middle of campus. Is that protected by the First Amendment?
Encampments are generally not protected by the First Amendment. Universities can enforce content-neutral, time, place, and manner rules that restrict where students can protest as long as they're reasonable. And these encampments can be very disruptive to the university, preventing students from accessing their classes and other areas of campus. So universities can instruct students to not set up the encampments and ensure that students can access the rest of campus.
So I guess that leads to the inevitable question then, what are the proper forms of protest? Because I assume students have First Amendment rights on college university campuses.
They do. They have very strong First Amendment rights on college campuses. Some of the most popular ways students can protest are holding rallies, using signs, social media, having their own events, all traditionally protected ways students can protest. What they can't do is threaten others or disrupt campus.
Essentially, they can't break the law.
Exactly. The law is pretty clear. It goes back decades on what the First Amendment allows and what it allows universities to punish.
Of course, nobody has the right to not be offended. I always tell my kids this, you're going to get offended all the time. And there are lots of things in life that offend me, but you can't shut down everything that's offensive under the First Amendment, right?
That's correct. Yes, students have the right to use their own speech to counter speech they think is offensive or hateful. And we urge students to use this really powerful tool to affect change in the world.
So there's no doubt, though, that some things that students say, even in these pro-Palestinian rallies, might be offensive to other students, particularly Jewish students. Where do you draw the line here?
We draw the line where the First Amendment draws the line. Students have the right to express political viewpoints, even if those viewpoints offend others. What they can't do is use their speech to threaten others, to commit true threats, serious intent to commit a lawful action, or harassment, a severe, pervasive, offensive course of conduct that prevents others from utilizing their own free speech rights. So our goal is both to uphold free speech on campus while also protecting campus safety.
So just because I'm offended and feel uncomfortable with the words that another student utters, that's not enough for me to shut down that person's speech.
That's correct. We believe that the purpose of a liberal arts education is to have your deepest beliefs challenged, and students should come to campus expecting to have their worldviews contested, and that may include some level of offense or being uncomfortable. But that's how students grow and expand their worldviews and learn more about the world around them.
We only have about 20 seconds, but my final question is, how have the universities been doing on this? It seems to me they're all over the map.
It's a mixed bag. You have some really good schools like the University of Chicago doing all the right things, protecting free speech. Other schools, the Columbias of the world, some schools in Texas and Florida are really failing when it comes to students' rights.
Well, Zach Greenberg with FIRE, the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. Thank you, sir, very much for sharing your thoughts with us today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this edition of the Sunday Business Page. Have a great Sunday, everybody.